So living as a kid with ADHD wasn't the easiest thing, right? Especially in school. When I was in school, I couldn't focus on anything, right? I was playing with my pens, throwing them around with my hands or whatever, playing with my erasers, and if just anything I could get my hands on, basically, right? And if I couldn't get my hands on anything, I guess I would just look out the window, count how many leaves are on the tree or look at the birds, anything but school. Now, the teachers didn't like this, so that didn't make school any more fun. Sometimes I even got punished for it. My grades were bad, so I got to hold back one day, 1 year. I wish one day. And then my parents wouldn't like that obviously as much as well. So basically, it just didn't work. But when I got older, I got control over my ADHD. I sort of beat my ADHD. Funny story. We'll get into that. And the thing is, I can go into like the scientific things or like the studies about ADHD, but to be honest, there's a lot of people that made videos about this, and frankly, they are a lot smarter than me on this subject. They know a lot more about this subject, but something that a lot of them don't have is hands-on experience with ADHD, fiddling with it, seeing what works and what doesn't, And so I just want to share with you guys my experience and the things that I did in order to beat my ADHD. So yeah, what did I do in order to control it, right? Or tame my ADHD, beat my ADHD, whatever you want to call it, right? I fought with my ADHD and broke its nose, for all I care. Now, these are not per se, I think, proven methods, right? Of like, yeah, scientifically, these things, if you do this and this, your ADHD is gonna be gone, whatever. I haven't looked into that, but these are just the things that I did in order to control my ADHD and just, become more focused on things and more calm, right? So one thing for me was definitely being alone a lot, which is a weird thing because when you're ADHD, you're trying to be hyper and stuff. But when I'm alone, I can focus on my thoughts, which is something I did a lot. When I was alone, a lot of times because I got angry as a kid, I had anger attacks. I got a video on that as well, how to control your anger, because I got like major anger issues back then. But yeah, back then a lot of the times what happened for me was like when I got very hyper, when I got an anger attack, for example, I tried to be alone, right? I just went to my room and sat alone. And then my thoughts just all came to me, right? All the thoughts went in my head. All the thoughts, right? There I could really just think to myself. I could just figure out my thoughts. For some reason, this helped me because now when I think and I can focus on a certain thought, right? If I think about this, I can sort of, it sounds weird, but I can grab that thought and think about that thought, right? Without any other thoughts really like interfering and controlling it. I can just think that thought, and that's something that definitely helped me with that because I can it's weird to explain, but I can just grab my thought, sort of like the thought that I want to grab, right? Now when I don't do this, obviously there's a lot of thoughts in my head and I cannot really figure out what I'm thinking about. But if I want to grab a single one, I can, and that's because I got to be alone a lot of the time. So yeah, I don't know how to really tell you otherwise. I just be alone a lot and think about my things that I'm thinking about, right? Another one was when I did really feel like going crazy and I felt like I wanted to move a lot and I felt like I wanted this. I just did a lot of the times, right? A lot of the times, not all times. I just screamed, I just played, I ran. I was like very busy all the time. I was like running this way, that way. And when I got older, I did the opposite, right? Instead of going there to there, I controlled myself. I was like, nope, I feel like that. I just move my legs, right? I move like my legs the whole time. So there's different things. But when I got older, I just moved my legs instead of running around. And when I was a kid, I just let it out. And as a kid, that feels awesome, right? Now I did fighting sports, for example. I did kickboxing back then. And that's very conditional wise, heavy. Plus you can hit, and with anger issues, that's perfect. Watch the video if you want to know more about that. So yeah, fighting sports, just letting it out, right? Then I guess the hyperactive part is going down, so you can control more or focus more on your thoughts and on other things. So yeah, fighting sports. Even when I got older, I still did fighting sports, but due to an accident back then, I couldn't continue kickboxing, so I had a long pause and I did other sports like football and whenever when I turned 18, I still did fighting sports like boxing, wrestling, MMA and stuff. And at this moment right now, I do running. So I always done like a little bit of sports in order to let out some energy, you know. Another thing that being alone was like very useful to me, but something that I figured out actually was what helped me a lot, which is similar, but then also quite the opposite. It's like blocking out, trying to block out all thoughts, right? Now, this never worked like completely. Like, I could never, almost never. I have these some, there, that's actually crazy. There are some moments where I have no thoughts, and then I just feel so extremely relaxed, like, right? It feels super weird. I really don't know how that happens or when that happens when I do that, but it almost happens never, right? When I feel like my mind just being like, whoa, it feels so relaxed. I don't know how that happens. I guess if you could call it a name, I would call it I feel zen. I feel like total relaxation. But that happens almost never, right? But what I do try, and I still do that sometimes, I try and block out every thought, right? I just try. It's sort of like meditation when I think about it, because now I do meditation. But back then I didn't do meditation. I didn't think it was meditation. I didn't even know meditation. Back then I just sat down, tried to block out all thoughts, even though it never really worked. And then just slow down, right? Slow down, slow the thoughts down. And this is hard, especially with ADHD, because you want to move, you want to think, you want to do this, you want to do that, right? So everything is fast. It's like, but you want to slow down. You want to really like actively work on that, right? And that's something that I did, which was pretty hard. But when I got used to it more and more, now I can be very calm. Like, I know it looks weird, but I can calm my mind down a little bit. Or at least it feels like I'm calming it down, right? Doesn't feel stressed, or it doesn't feel full the whole time, and it doesn't feel like everything's firing at the same time. So yeah, that's something. It's a weird exercise to do. It's difficult, but that helped me. And now I can do it better, but back then it was way harder. Now, in order to focus more on things, because there was things that I hated or I didn't like doing, I couldn't focus on it. I still cannot really focus on it. I can, but I'm not gonna be as proficient or not gonna be as good as other things. Frankly, that's just the truth, right? If I don't like to do it, to be honest, I don't even want to do it, right? So I'm probably not gonna do it unless I know it has some beneficial effect or beneficial thing for me. Then it's a different thing. But then it's like this reward that's behind there, right? That's also something that's very good for people with ADHD. Give them something like a reward, like, oh, if you do that, you get this. Then it makes it more fun. And if it's fun, you're gonna have the most focus of everyone, right? For example, with gaming, there's no reward, but they like doing it, right? That's for me. I liked gaming when I was younger. When I got out of school, when I got home, the first thing was the PlayStation was on. Call of Duty Black Ops 2, if you know that, I was the best sniper in the game. FaZe Clan wanted me every single day of the week, if they knew that I existed at least. Trick shotting, everything, but like gaming was my thing. Like, I loved gaming. And I could do it the whole day. I could call my mom right now and tell Ma, what did I do when I was a kid? Like, when I got home after school, she would say game or PlayStation or whatever, or she would say I don't know. And if I say gaming, oh yeah, she knows, like, that's the thing that I did, right? And I got very emotional at the gaming as well. A lot of times, screaming, cursing, even crying at FIFA. I don't know. I remember crying at the thing, like, I hate this game, and I still wanted to play. And my mom going, you gotta quit. No. Kept playing. But yeah, I just was super focused on it. I was so focused. I wanted to win. When I lost, I hated it, and then I wanted to do it again and again and again and again. And I could focus on it forever, right? Because I liked it. Now the things that I didn't like, I couldn't. But now when I'm older, I can just focus on things better. So what I do is, for example, I have to focus on something I don't like, right? And I thought myself that, all right, we're gonna work. I'm gonna work on my computer. I'm gonna do some things that I'd rather not do, right? I don't like it that much, or I don't like it at all. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start. When I feel like I'm gonna get distracted, or I feel like I'm getting distracted, I'm reading a book, right? I used to hate reading. I never read anything. Now I read every day. I like reading. So let's say I was reading a book like this, right? And then I'd be like this. You know, I'd get distracted. I still do sometimes, but whenever now I get distracted, I'm just like, focus again, you know? Or if I do this and I'm like, focus again. And I just, every time I've thought about something else, every time I looked at something else, I was like, nope, 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 focus. You have to focus. Nope, nope, no distractions, focus, right? And eventually I keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this the whole time. I had to, it's annoying for myself to do even, but that's just what you have to do, right? It's just like this, no, you have to be harsh on yourself, right? Like, do it, right? And then once you're done, you can do the other things that you wanted to do. Now, eventually I just became better and better at this, right? Same with you. If you're gonna do this, it's like this practice, right? If you go to the gym and you keep going, you're gonna get better. Same with this, right? You keep trying to just cut out the distractions. You're gonna stay focused on this thing for 5 minutes. Tomorrow, 6 minutes. Day after 7 minutes. And eventually you just feel when you get distracted and you're like already like, nope, right? Without even looking. I now have that. When I read, I see something in the corner of my eye, my phone, for example. But I just keep reading. And I'm not gonna look. Why? Because I know, no, I'm gonna stay focused. And now I'm just so good at this that I can do the things that I don't want to do, even with focus. Now, do I still get distracted sometimes? Yeah, way less. Right, so those are some things that I did in order to control my ADHD, I guess beat my ADHD, because the doctor said that I didn't have ADHD, or I guess not enough symptoms, I guess you could call it. So yeah, I guess I beat my ADHD. It's a pretty funny story. I really, when I think about this, it's like, what the fuck, right? But yeah, that's basically it. Hopefully it helped you out. If you got any questions, let me know. I'm very happy to answer. If you want to be my friend, don't forget to like and subscribe. Give me like a high five. ADHD Brothers for Life. And I'll see you guys next one. I'm not that good at editing yet, I think. Peace out.